IGT, baby.
What's cracking, guys? It's your boy Junior Mafia coming back to you with another video. So we got to talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw, and this was a fantastic show. I enjoyed it as well. The crowd in Dallas is very good. Shout out to that Dallas crowd, man. Y'all went bonanza and y'all showed out today. So credit to y'all for making the show a lot more interesting and all. Definitely had some exciting matches, you know, especially the #1 contender Intercontinental Championship Gauntlet match. I thought that was fantastic, you know, to see Javon Evans put on a masterclass performance. That was dope to see. And to see Chad Gable win that, and now he's going to be facing Penta at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. Looking forward to that matchup. I know they're going to deliver big time and all that stuff, but we definitely got to talk about what happened, and I'm going to start off from the show and then make my way towards the main event area. So we had Brock Lesnar coming out there with Paul Heyman, and they get into the ring, but they bring the Dallas Police Department with them, like 5 JAGs with them and police gear. You knew it was about to happen. So Paul Heyman pretty much was saying that the reason of the police department actually being there and blocking off that ring right there was for Obafemi, and pretty much to say, to play it safe, that, you know, I had put a restraining order for Obafemi and Brock Lesnar to, like, you know, clash with each other up until their matchup, and, you know, try to stay safe. Then, you know, you see Paul Heyman pretty much calling him a big Nigerian dummy and all that other stuff, like trying to downplay Oba. But you knew good and damn well what it was about to come down to. And as soon as the lights went off, Oba music hits. And granted, as this whole time that you hear Paul Heyman speaking, you kept hearing the Oba chants going over and over and over. So he came out there, crowd hype as hell and all that too, doing the Oba shots. So now the fucking JG starts to go in the ring to guard off both Brock and Paul Heyman so Oba don't get to them. Then Oba gets into there, and that's where both Brock and Paul Heyman ends up getting out of there. So, you know, Paul Heyman, I mean, you know, Oba tight, like, yo, really, you had to come down to this right here where you need security guards to protect you and stuff like that. So, as he's pissed off, he's like, nah, I can't in a fight. Like, they ain't gonna stop me from doing so. So as soon as they got in there, one of the security guards in the middle decides to step up, the shortest of them all. And my God, the saxophones got loud for him, because as soon as he tried to make a move, Oba packed his ass up, and then arrested him, got manhandled, and both of them got a double choke slam and stuff like that. Somebody got big booted in the face, and then he took one of the JAGs and tossed him over the ring and stuff like that. So he cleaned house. So you see Paul Heyman and Brock all at the top of the rant. Oba grabs the mic and says, you know, for you to stoop this low to have security guards and all that to protect you, like, I can't respect you that way. Like, it was once upon a time, you was like that dominant superstar, untouchable. You didn't need no protection at all. Like, you went in and would pack anybody up. And he said you had to pretty much stoop this low now. Like, now, this day and age right here, this is what you have to resort to. So I'm like, nah, this it's the time of talking, the time to play games is over now. And come to Hell in a Cell, you know, I'm going to dominate you. I'm going to pack you up, and, you know, I'm going to handle business. Simple as that. And he said, can't nobody stop me from doing so. So that was a good way to kick off the show right there. Oba once again looking dominant. You know, ever since this whole interaction between him and Brock Lesnar right there, he continued to look like $1 million and look like the next big thing. And this is what you're going to see a whole lot more now. So definitely excited way to kick off the show. Enjoy that as well. Then we got to talk about it's the situation with Division. So they come out there, and you see Maxine Dupree. You know, she pretty much explained her actions and what happened last week, you know, when she helped out Division to win the tag team titles. So as she's trying to get her point across, crowd booing the fuck out of her. Like, she can't get a word out. All of a sudden, you see Otis and Tozawa come out to the ring. So they get in there and they pretty much was trying to explain to her, like, you know, what makes you do this? So Maxine, you know, trying to explain, like, you know, I love and I appreciate y'all right now, you know, for everything, but, you know, Theory understands me. So Otis, like, you know, he's no good. Tozawa saying he's no good and stuff like that. And, excuse me, of course, you know, she's trying to downplay it and all that too, but you hit Theory, of course, talking the most shit as possible. And Otis got fed up. So, man proceeded to throw him into the ring, get ready to pack him up, and here comes Braun Breaker, you know, trying to, he packed up Tozawa, trying to turn his attention to Otis. Otis able to fight both of them off and all that too. Got Braun Breaker down, and he had no business with Austin Theory. So he in the corner. You didn't Seth want to get loud for Theory. As you see Otis make his way towards him, then you see Maxine blocks his pathway and pretty much was saying, like, don't hurt Theory. And, you know, Otis trying to tell him, like, yo, get out my way. Like, I'm gonna hurt this dude. So Maxine tried her best right there to butt up the Otis, playing into it, knowing that what's about to happen next. And then like Maxine wanted to go kiss him, and then you see Theory hits a low blow to Otis, and at that point there, she mushes him to the mat and stuff. Then you see this nigga Braun Breaker run the ropes heavy and gave Tozawa one of the craziest spears he could ever had taken. Then they turned their attention to Otis, and at this point, now another game's played the part. He got hit with the brass knucks from Theory, and then once it's done and all that stuff, they lifting him up. Braun Breaker runs the ropes again, and then hits him with a crazy spear. So that was a crazy segment there as well. Like, I would never have expected me being fully invested into it, but I could see the direction it going with this. And I truly believe all roads lead to Chad Gable and Otis winning those tag titles on it. Now, would it be a situation where Maxine causes division? That can happen, but that's the only way I see how this whole thing gonna turn out. And but it was a very good segment there too. They enjoyed it. The crowd was definitely fired up for that moment as well, so it was dope to see. Then we get back from commercial break. We got an impromptu match between Royce Keys and Jimmy Uso. Now, y'all remember on SmackDown, you know, they had a match there as well. And, you know, you see Solo making an appearance right there by the pack of Jimmy, but Jacob comes out there, and, of course, Royce ended up losing the match as well. So, you know, he ended up packing up Royce Keys and then turns his attention towards Solo and had the chair around his neck. And before he about to do his hip attack and shit like that, he told him, like, yo, this is your only warning right here. The next time, you know, you're getting out of business again, it's not going to end well for you. And left it as that. So Jimmy and Royce Keys had their match. And you see Jacob making his way from the parking lot area, making his way towards the ring. And he gets in there. Of course, he goes attacking Royce Keys. Match gets disqualification and stuff like that. And he about to go pack him up, especially having the chair to Royce's neck. So I'm like, oh my God, he wanted to go and get his man a hip attack. So I'm like, oh, it's about to be over. Until Solo came out, and he pretty much was saying, like, don't do it, Jacob. Like stop all that. Like, I understand it now. I understand your reason for getting me on SmackDown and stuff like that. And was saying, you know what? It is what it is. I will join the bloodline. Like, I'm gonna join the family again. So he goes in there picking the ones up and stuff. So I'm thinking, like, nah, ain't no way. Like, he about to line his stuff with the bloodline all over again. So you got Jimmy throwing his one up, Jacob throwing a one up, and then you see Solo switches one into his thumb, laughing, about to hit Jimmy with the Samoan spike, and hit him with it, turns the attention to Jacob. And then they start brawling and shit like that. But of course, you know, Jacob and Jimmy's gonna get the upper hand. Royce Keys try to fight him over too. That wasn't gonna happen. So right when you don't everybody be over for them, here comes LA Knight. He comes out there with a chair, and he pretty much getting Jimmy out the ring, hitting JAG with multiple chair shots. That shit was phasing him at one point. Then, of course, he got the offense, got him up out of there, and let it be known, like, you know, I'm sick of this whole bloodline situation right here. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have ourselves a 6-man tag team match at SummerSlam, and he could tell he kind of all in now on Solo. So that's good to see. We'll see how long that lasts, because me personally, as much as this good and see Solo as a face, I don't envision the circumstances this is gonna last long. I truly believe this is part of Solo's plan, and he might do something, you know, afterwards. But nevertheless, we're looking at the 6-man tag team match because they tell him to call on Jay and all that, and we're gonna have it at SummerSlam. So definitely looking forward to that. They trying to stack the card up for SummerSlam, especially with how these ticket sales been going. Of course, they're gonna try to pull out all stops right now to make the events very interesting. So we'll see how that whole thing transpires. And last but not least, we're gonna talk about the main event. And one thing I was saying, before I get into that, we had got a silhouette of Big Cass, and he returning August 3rd. So that's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, either one of the nights of SummerSlam or the Raw after SummerSlam, one or the other. And I'm like, if they're going to do this, Enzo Amore should not be mentioned at all. Let that be a surprise. We see Cass, I'm going to his music, and then you hear the "you soft," like that is a good way to bring in Enzo. So we shall see and all that, but we did get that silhouette there, and they know he's gonna make a return. So can't wait to see how that whole thing turns out. I had to bring that up because they mentioned it during the commercial break for Raw. So we get to the main event now. Contract signing, Adam Pearce in there. They call out Roman Reigns, and you hear the OTC chant. So he gets in there, tell him to acknowledge him. Then Seth Rollins comes out there as well. Now, one thing I always said throughout the stream, I said there needs to be less talking and more fighting. Unless it gets to a point where it gets personal shit, then I could accept it. But at that point there, we already heard a lot from what they kept saying. You know, mentioning the Shield and all that. They kept doing promo package for them and get the narration from both Roman and Seth perspective, you know, throughout the show. So they kind of like overused it a lot. So gets in the ring, and instantly Seth signs the contract. So once he signs it, Roman, he gets it and pretty much let it be known, like, you know, no, Seth kept saying, like, you know, you see them, you hear more of them embracing my song than you hear the OTC chants. So it was pretty much split half and half with that. So Roman, like, yeah, man, like, you can have all you want. Bottom line is, you know, I know one thing for sure. Literally, like that number one, you're gonna still remain that number two, and you know, I'm gonna handle business, you know, at SummerSlam and work as champion. So once he signed the contract, Seth let it be known, like, you know, there it is right here, and you know, I appreciate you so much for keeping my title warm for me, and I'm going to get it back, and it's just that simple. And walked off. So that's happening. I'm thinking, like, yo, you cannot be serious right now. This should not be the ending of Monday Night Raw, because it's like, what do we just, this is a waste of our time. That wasn't until Roman says, that's it. That's all you got to say right here. He said, there it is. There's Seth Rollins right there. Says all that talk and then walks away. And he brings up, he said, let's be honest right now. Let's say if you do beat me and win a title, how long you going to hold that title until you get injured again? And that moment there struck a nerve for Seth. Like, everything else he had in his mind went completely blank once Roman mentioned that shit. So he was saying that, yeah, if you want to be real, let's be real right now. Like, the reason why I'm number one and all that, because you cannot reach that main event status, that top status right there as champion. He said you can't hack it. You get injured a lot. And also kept mentioning about, like, you know, once he said that, then Seth gets into the ring, and now he's pissed off, like, you got more to say now? Like, Gab, let it out. So I'm like, all right, let's start with the fact that when it comes down to you want to be champion, you always got to have the Money in the Bank briefcase. So he starts taking jabs after jab after jabs. Then he brings up about, you know, it also took you to fake an injury in order to win a title. Then mentions about, you know, being Triple H, like Triple H being your daddy and all that too, and you know him being the reason why you being this main event situations right here when a title is up for grabs, whatever the case is. And then he brings up that at the end of the day, you always gonna be the Tribal Chief's bitch. You want to know what it's all said and done. You will never be on my level. So, of course, Seth Rollins look and says, you know, is that all you got? That's all you got to say right there. And he started going on his little gibberish and stuff. At that point, whatever Seth was saying, it didn't match up to Roman, you know, and the jabs he was taking towards him. Like, he really got under Seth's skin. So after he said, you know what he normally said, he went and strike a punch to Roman. Went on and started packing him up and stuff. So it looked like he about to leave out the ring. And he thought about it, came back in, about to hit a curve stomp. Before he about to do that, Roman hits him with a Superman punch. And then, of course, he's going to lift him up to do a powerbomb on the table. But Seth able to grab the microphone, hits him on the head with it, and then hits him with a pedigree. And then once it was done, went, hit a curve stomp on him. And that's pretty much how, oh yeah, he grabs Roman up and was saying, calling him a piece of shit and all that stuff. Like, this is the Seth Rollins I want to see. The Seth that do the less talking and putting hands and feet on motherfuckers when needed to. So I'm glad to actually see that happen for Seth when it comes out of Roman. And, you know, this is what I want to see more of leading up to that match at SummerSlam. Because that's going to make it interesting. Now, albeit I know Seth is going to lose, but at least make it interesting so we can give a fuck. So I was glad to see this right here, and I hope we continue to see these type of scenarios as well. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to hold them off probably until that go-home show leading up to SummerSlam. That's probably what I see there. So we'll see what happens right there. Also, they set up the matches for Saturday Night Main Event where Lyra and Bayley, they had the interaction too. I forgot to mention that. And you know, I definitely thought it was dope. You know, I'm leaning more on Lyra being that heel character, you know, facing Bayley and shit. That was very interesting to see. And looking forward for their match at Saturday Night Main Event and MSG. So they trying to set the card up there too. So I know it's going to be dope and can't wait for it. But nevertheless, this was a very good Monday Night Raw. I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10, close to a 9. Very, very close. But it was very entertaining and I enjoyed it for the was. But comment down below. Let me know. What was your favorite moments of Monday Night Raw and was you excited for the show and even leading up to SummerSlam? Definitely want to hear your comments down below, but I appreciate your love and support. Roll to 300 subscribers. Continue to keep God first. That's the process of anything that you do in life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch you on the next video. Peace.
Game over, yeah!